getting this comment everywhere. Dating is hard everywhere. It is true. There are 3 reasons for that. Social media, because the standard's so high, and online dating apps, it's so easy to swipe on the next person without even looking at their personality. I'm guilty of this too, and it's not natural to date like that. Number 2, a lot of us may have elders that are divorced or unhappily married or have these kind of traumatic events that affect us as kids. Divorce rates being so high, I believe almost 50%. A lot of us are very hesitant to even jump in to begin with, so we just run to situationships rather than real relationships because that holds such a high risk.
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics, is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
Well, I'll give you some credit. I do agree that social media and dating apps have completely rewired the concept of dating as a whole. What used to be a means for singles to get together to see if they have anything in common has become a massive list of meaningless novelties that are more focused on providing a woman with entertainment and free food, as opposed to seeing if there's any future with the man. And though it is true men aren't really willing to tie the knot anymore, I think it's kind of unfair to use childhood trauma as an excuse as to why it's so hard for you to find a man when you expect the man to just deal with his baggage before entering into the dating market. And that double standard is incredibly hypocritical and just downright annoying, especially when almost everything that happens to a person nowadays is considered traumatic. That word has been used so many times that it's lost all meaning. Much like dating, common sense, and respect. All those words are fairly meaningless now.
Just super, super sad, because at the end of the day, like, relationships should be about evolving together, building each other up, being a partnership. So many of us are afraid of that. And number 3, a lot of girls initially begin with trying to find the bad boy, trying to find the boy that they can fix, rather than finding the real men in their lives. There are a ton of good men out there. The nice guys finish last is so true. It's really hard for both men and women. It's like a waiting game at times. Like, some women feel that men's taxi cab light only goes on at a certain time when they're ready, and men feel like they're the nice guy and they don't even get a chance because the girl's not ready for him either. It's kind of that like waiting game.
What?
Hang on a second. There was actually a point where you stopped going after the bad boys? All I see are women who spent their 20s going after these guys, then begrudgingly marrying an average guy in her 30s, divorcing him by the time she's 40, and then go back to trying to chase after the bad guys with their ex-husband's alimony money. Modern women aren't interested in real men. Real men are flawed creatures that won't tick all of the arbitrary boxes, but they're still perfectly fine. But a modern woman doesn't want perfectly fine. She wants more than that. And the only men that she's interested in are the fantasies she's created in her head thanks to binge watching the Twilight movies one too many times. But I'm here to tell you that real men don't believe that vampires sparkle in the sunlight. Real vampires are badasses, or they speak lines that are grossly mistranslated from Japanese.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.
The good thing about this generation is there are so many ways to meet people now, whether it is the app, social media, or in person. Meet them in a grocery store, you could join a new hobby, you can meet them in a coffee shop. There are just so many beautiful ways to meet people. At a concert even. I just encourage you to have an open mind. I'm gonna try to do this myself too. Good luck if you're dating. Okay, bye.
It's the perfect plan.
Well, there's the problem, lady. Nobody's meeting each other anywhere. The delusional parasite has already taken hold of the modern woman's brain. They go to Home Depot in hopes of finding a rough and rugged contractor. They go to the grocery store in hopes of finding a real man buying organic produce. They go to Costco to try to find a man while picking up 100 pounds worth of industrial-grade kitty litter. Men don't approach women at coffee shops anymore because it's a fool's errand, and we don't talk to each other unless it's behind a screen. And that's because modern women don't want to be approached by anyone who doesn't meet their fantasy, and men don't want to approach because brutal rejection, pepper spraying, and being hit with a false allegation just aren't worth the risk. Everyone is miserable and nobody wants to do anything about it. So we just win our own way to find our own peace and make the best out of a crap situation. Because after a few decades worth of watching the game get more and more rigged, the best option we found was to not bother playing at all.
Wish I could stay, but I got a thing. Bye.
If men rarely approach you in public, it is not because you're not pretty or they're not attracted to you. It's most likely because your energy is closed off. I used to have like the biggest resting bitch face when I was in public, and I'd always wonder like, why does nobody approach me? And then I realized if your body language is closed off and you just look like you don't want to talk to anyone, nobody's going to approach you because, again, people fear being rejected. So if you want to be constantly approached by the right men in public, start telling yourself the news story. You do this by shifting your self-concept and telling yourself, I'm so easy to talk to, I'm so welcoming, I always attract high-value individuals to come up and talk to me. I always tell my clients to try this, and literally after a few days of them just shifting their beliefs, they start being approached by so many people. Try it out because it works every single time.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
Well, there it is, clear as day. It's not that men aren't approaching, it's that the quote-unquote right men aren't approaching, which isn't really a good message to be portraying there, sister. By saying that the right men aren't approaching, it gives off the impression that you're butthurt that young, rich, well-built, handsome men aren't talking to you. And that means the rest of the serfs are, in fact, the wrong men. And that's not really gonna help you at all. There are tons of really good dudes out there who will treat you with kindness and respect, and in many cases, that's all those guys really want in return. But it's kind of hard to do that when you're implying that those men are wrong because you inherently believe they are of low value. And when it gets to that point, you might as well just abandon all hope because there's no shaking that view once it's in your head. But if there's anything positive to be said about this, it's that you're doing us all a solid by letting us know in advance that there's no point in talking to you. Self-respecting men don't want to waste their time by talking to the wrong kind of woman, after all.
That's funny because it's so true.
So this guy comes up to the bar and he wants to know what these two girls that were like maybe 23-ish were drinking. And they're sitting there, they're talking. I look over, I'm like, I don't know. He was like, how do you not know? He's getting mad at me. And I'm like, I didn't serve their drinks, but by looking at them, it looks like a vodka cranberry and a vodka soda. He goes, well, what are their names? I don't know. I didn't start them a tab. I didn't even make their drinks. He was like, well, I want to buy them a drink. Okay, well, go talk to them. He's like, well, why don't you give them another drink? And I'm like, I don't even know what they're drinking. It was too busy for this. I didn't have time. I was like, go talk to them. He ended up getting mad at me. Whatever. In my defense, they were not sitting at the bar. They were sitting along the wall, like behind the guy that was ordering. So in order for me to go talk to them, I would have had to have left the bar and fought my way through the crowd to get to them.
As many fish.
And it's not a cod.
I do my best to follow the golden rule when it comes to a modern woman's ability to tell a story, and that is to take what she says with an oil drum of salt and assume what she's saying is only slightly true at best. Here's why. If a man who was being extremely aggressive about wanting personal information about some patrons at your bar, wouldn't that be considered a massive security risk? If that man is demanding to know their names and is asking for the bartender to violate their privacy, you'd think that'd be grounds to kick the man out of the bar, but no, she just goes on about her day as if it's just a mild annoyance, even though this guy was trying to buy drinks for a few women. So I highly doubt it happened the way she said, especially since we're living in a world where every single member of the sisterhood is an empowered victim. I don't know. Kind of tough to say. What do you guys think? How true is this story so far? Let me know in the comments section.
These girls were very attractive young women, and he had a full head of white hair, so he's like well into his 60s, maybe 70s, I don't know. But I saw him a little while later over there, shooting his shot. I'm not even lying. This guy acted like buying them a drink was gonna like be like Moses parting the Red Sea and their legs were just gonna spread wide open. Like, he walks away and they're all smiley and stuff. They come up to the bar, ordered a vodka cranberry and a vodka sour. I was like, oh, I was close about the drink orders. I said, do you guys have a tab open? Actually, never mind. I'm gonna put it on that other guy's tab. They were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, he was talking about how rich he was. I was like, well, that's even more of a reason. I mean, he wanted to buy y'all a drink anyway, so I'm just gonna put it on his tab. When he closed out, he tipped 20% and didn't say anything about the drinks.
Hey, are we criminals just because we committed a crime? Oh, that's good.
That part of the story I actually believe, and it's an incredible breach of ethics that could get you into a massive amount of legal trouble there, sister. You charged a man for drinks that he didn't order, and he did not give you permission to do that. It doesn't matter if he was old, it doesn't matter if he was rich, and it doesn't matter if he was hitting on girls half of his age. They didn't seem to mind, and they were even smiling at his charm. So where do you get off having this man pay for someone else's drinks when he didn't even place the order in the first place? Intention does not matter. He never gave you permission to do that, especially when you could have just given the girls the drinks on the house. Nobody would have cared. And if the roles were reversed and a male bartender did that to you, you would be doing a massive rant, filing lawsuits, and demanding justice because you were once again victimized. But because it was a man, it was totally fine. And for the record, even if the events went down exactly as you say, and that man sees this, he now has grounds for getting you fired. You pretty much openly admitted to stealing from him. So you're not only a terrible storyteller, you're also a terrible thief.
Check, please.
I've come to the conclusion that I think men have absolutely no clue what women are looking for in a partner, because there's so many men out there who are still under the impression that women are looking for like a protector or a provider. And that is absolutely not what most women are looking for.
It is.
It's interesting. Men will be like, well, I want to provide for you and you can be a stay-at-home mom and I'll make sure you never have to work again. But they never say the quiet part out loud, which is, you'll never have to work again for a corporation, but you will work for me. You'll do my laundry, you'll do my cooking, you'll do my cleaning, you'll take care of my children, you will pack my bags for my vacations. Like, you won't have a job, but you'll take care of me full time for the rest of your life.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
I dub thee Gladys. And Gladys, I've come to the conclusion that you're bitter that your life didn't turn out the way you wanted. Men have made it abundantly clear for centuries what they want. They want a woman who's kind, feminine, trusting, and can provide him some peace. Just as much as you said that you want a provider. The problem is, you don't want to provide anything in return. If a man makes enough money for you to be a stay-at-home mom, you don't want to do anything. I mean, just listen to you. You're upset that you have to cook, clean, take care of the house and kids. And so what? What exactly is wrong with that, Gladys? I think it's kind of funny how you claim that we don't know what we want when all you do is complain about what you don't want. And what you don't want to do are the wifely duties while expecting your husband to do both the working and the stay-at-home parenting while you criticize everything that he does. You have yet to bring up one good thing that you want. Prove me wrong, Gladys.
And it's interesting because when you ask women what they want, because I've put up polls, what do you want? What is important to you when you look for a man? They say, a man who can do his own laundry, a man who will help take care of the baby, a man who participates in his kids' lives, a man who will unload the dishwasher without being asked and not look for me to give him applause for doing so. I'm looking for a man who is an equal participant in our home. I'm looking for a man who's gone to therapy. I'm looking for a man with empathy. I'm looking for a man who can listen without attacking. I'm looking for a man who wants a true partner.
I want a potty. I want a cookie. I want to stay up. I want me. Mine. Now.
Wow, so you did a whole Twitter poll, huh? Well, look at you, Gladys. The amount of work that you're willing to do just to justify your terrible behavior almost overshadows the amount of work you do bashing your husband and complaining that you have to push a button to start a washing machine. The fact that women have a laundry list of things that they want from their husbands just goes to show that you're nothing short of ungrateful parasites. I want this. I want that. But what are you willing to give, Gladys? Men have made it clear. If they want you in their lives, he's going to share everything with you. His home, his trust, his resources. And in exchange, what exactly are you offering, Gladys? Nothing except condescension and resentment. You just add onto your list of demands that if the man is responsible for catering to your every whim while also adhering to his role as a provider. It's not asking too much for you to fold his pants and give him a thank you whenever he unloads the dishwasher. Well, maybe it is for you, Gladys. You strike me as an incompetent oaf.
No one. I asked and hundreds of people answered and not one of them said that I want a man who's going to provide for me financially so I don't ever have to work again and that way I can cook and clean for him all I want. Nobody said that. Nobody's saying that because women don't want that. We want a partner. We want somebody who sees us and values us and just doesn't provide a paycheck. We want way more than that.
They know. They just don't care.
Well, that's just it, isn't it, Gladys? Women do want that, but they're not going to tell you on that super duper scientific Twitter poll you created. Modern women don't want to appear like they're gold diggers. They'll brag about how they earn their own money and pay their own bills, but when given the option, they will always choose the man to pay for things. They will always choose the man to provide. But the one thing they won't do is tell you on your super scientific Twitter poll. Because, Gladys, doing so would make them look bad, and modern housewives need to appear to be the victims no matter the cost, which is why you resort to petty games and accusing your husband of being lazy even though he is working his fingers to the bone, while you sit back and relentlessly rip him a new one by bitching and moaning over the fact that you actually have to do some work and demand endless praise for the same things that your husband does. Which just goes to show that you're not a victim, Gladys. You're just ungrateful. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.